Gregory.
Hey, Glad.
And hey, guys, thanks for coming back or joining us. Um, Today, we're going to be talking about breaks in reality.
That's right. And they can be any number of things, really. I mean, if we haven't experienced them, certainly we've heard about them, right? Events where time or reality itself seems to malfunction. People slip into the past, objects vanish and reappear. Um, Deja vu happens. It's like the old Matrix, right? With the glitch, the cat that goes across the doorway twice. So we're going to be talking about kind of real life experiences and that examples, stories, and then diving a little bit into the history and folklore of these things. Um, you're talking about like the history of tears in reality or time slips or glitches in the matrix, so to speak. Um, if you dive back into Celtic tradition, um, they believed that some of these locations where these things occur are closer to the spirit world. And oftentimes going into these places means slipping into another dimension. In fact, there were a lot of holy sites and ritual sites that were believed to be these types of areas, and they were selected because the veil was so thin. Um, the Japanese folklore, which talked about, let me check here to make sure I pronounce this right, and I'm still not going to pronounce it right. Uh, Kamikashushi, or spiriting away, tells of people suddenly disappearing and turning into spirits that now inhabit another world. In fact, there was a movie in 2000, early 2000s, called Spirited Away that was based on this, phenomenon. Norse mythology was very similar to the Celtic traditions in that they believed that the rifts between their world and the world tree or Yggdrasil got thin, and that's when people would get taken to Valhalla and things like that. It was a big thing with them during battle, like the act of battle or warfare would make that veil thin so that their warriors, when they died, could pass easily into Valhalla. So there's examples of this happening all across history and all across today. When you hear people talk about like living in a simulation, and we can all think of examples where that happens. Sometimes I'll be thinking of a song that I haven't heard of or I haven't heard on the radio for like a year, and it'll just come on. Like, that's freaking weird. And it happens all the time. I'll be thinking of a song all day. Like, damn, I haven't heard that song in forever. And then it just comes on the radio. Like, or a recommended song on Spotify or something. It's like, what the hell is going on? So
Yeah.
the veil between the worlds, right, might be a little thinner when I'm having those thoughts, and all of a sudden this manifests. Like, that's a dumb example, right? But it does happen when you're talking about glitches in the matrix.
No, that makes sense because that reminds me when you're saying that of how there's a lot of people out there that even talk about how they dream something, and after they dream it, it'll happen. So that could be the same thing. Maybe when they're sleeping, that veil is a little bit thinner.
Right, they're like almost seeing into the future, and
Mm-hmm.
they're through their dreams. And this drives me crazy, but there are skeptics of that theory in particular that say that because it happened, you hallucinated the dream. As in, it happened first, and your memory malfunctions to make you think that you dreamt about it when actually you didn't. And I call bullshit, because I've had that happen too. And I remember thinking about the dream like that morning when I woke up, right? And then
Yep.
that thing will happen. It's never like a giant, like life changing thing, but it could be just like dreaming about seeing somebody you haven't seen in a while. And then all of a sudden you see him that day at the place you saw in your dream, like the gas station or something. Like, it's weird how that happens.
And I feel like it would happen all the time. It's not like, but it doesn't. It's like you dream it, and then when it happens, you wait. Like I just saw it. Like,
Right. It's freaking weird.
mhm.
So, skeptics be damned on this one. Like, I think that we certainly have had experiences like that. And I know that you guys, the viewers, have had things like this happen to you. And if you have, just tell us about it in the comments. Like, we want to engage with you and your experiences. So I'm sure you've had some deja vu or just some weird shit come up in your life that you're like, that's weird. I just thought about that, or I just dreamed about that. Let us know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And there's a couple like famous like worldwide examples of like these time slips that we're going to get into. The first one comes out of Tokyo, I believe. Clyde, is that correct?
Oh yeah. So it's a really famous one, and like you can look it up. It's documented. There are people that like call out the validity of it and some things, but it's very famous, and that one's called the Man from Taured, and it was it occurred in Japan, yes, and there was a man that arrived at a Japanese airport, and when he tried to go through customs, he handed them his passport, and it said Taured, and they took it and they said, "What is this?" He said, "This is my passport." And they said, this is fake. So they start looking at it and they're like, there's no country called Taured. And the passport was completely legitimate looking. Everything looked perfectly fine with it. And they said, this country doesn't exist. He says, what are you talking about? And they ended up trying to tell him, well, where is this country? And he tells them it's right between France and Spain. Well, like, what are you talking about? You know where it is. And they're like, no. So they end up pulling this guy in, and they pull out a map and tell him to point to the country. And when he goes to point to it, he looks at the map and he thinks maybe they're messing with him, because all of a sudden, where his country is, there's nothing. There's nothing that exists there. And he is shocked. He's like frightened. He's kind of panicking, obviously, because he's saying that this can't be. This can't be. It's always been there. And they ended up taking this guy. They said, well, we have to get this figured out, because right now we don't know who you are, where you're from, anything going on. So they're like, we're going to get this figured out. They took his documents, his passport, they locked it in a safe at the customs office, and they put this guy in a hotel. And they said, well, obviously he's in a hotel. We can't let him leave into this country because we don't know who he is. So they put a police officer outside of his hotel door, and they're like, we'll figure this out in the morning. Come the morning, when they tried to wake him up, tried to get him to come out, they were knocking on the door. No one's answering. No one's coming out. They get hotel staff to come up and open this door, and the guy's gone. And there was no other way out. It's a hotel room. There's one door in and out, and this guy is gone. So they're like, okay, well, let's grab his documents. Let's try to figure this out. So they open the safe in the customs office, and all of his documents are gone as well. So just as soon as he appeared with a passport of a country that didn't exist, he's gone in the blink of an eye.
Damn. Like, and his stuff was locked up, right? Like his passport and everything was like
In a
behind.
completely different location. Yeah, his passport, his documents were locked up in a safe in the customs office, and he was in a hotel room in a completely different location. Both of them vanished.
And this isn't some story from some off the wall forum or comment on some crazy video. Like this is a documented incident, right? From like the 50s.
Yeah, correct. And it's there are people, like I was saying, that question the validity, they question all this other stuff. If it was some like made up thing by these people that work there or something like that, but it's easy to find all the info on it. So it's
Yeah.
pretty well documented.
So what do we think? Is he a time traveler? Like, is there going to be a country named Taured in 100 years? Like, what's the theory? What's your theory on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear theories on it, or um, even other stories if you guys have had something uh, glitch in the matrix story, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, this is that to me. This screams like time traveler or like interdimensional traveler, right? Coming from a
Yeah,
place that doesn't exist in a reality that mirrors our own, but the names of places are different, right? Like,
yeah.
that's
It's
insane.
like there was an alternate timeline at some point in time,
Hmm.
and maybe those things got crossed, and that kind of makes you think about like even stuff that people bring up, like the Mandela Effect.
Right, dude. The Mandela Effect still trips me out. Like the
Oh
Bernstein Bears, like how it's spelled,
no,
right?
that one messes me up because I'm 100% certain it was Berenstein, not Berenstain.
Right.
Like you'll never convince me.
Or freaking Sinbad in the movie Shazam. Like 100% Sinbad played a freaking genie in that movie. Like
Dude,
I picture the box art. I can remember the plot of the movie. I can remember him acting in it. Apparently, that movie never existed, or it did, but it wasn't Sinbad.
no, it's crazy. The one that gets me too is the clothing brand Fruit of the Loom,
Yeah, the
where
cornucopia.
yeah, they're like, yeah, there was never a
It's
cornucopia
bullshit.
in
There
that
was
logo. And I'm
fruit
like,
spilling out of a cornucopia.
yeah. I'm like, no, no,
Like, and these are the
no.
weirdest things. Like, if the veil is thin, right, for Fruit of the Loom to fall through that, like, that's lame. But it's a real life example because I remember that damn cornucopia being
And
on
then
my
there's
shirts in the 90s.
oh yeah, and then there's some that I don't personally remember that other people swear by. So maybe they were on the other side of that. Like, did you know there's a lot of people out there that when you ask them how many states are in the United States, they swear to you it's 52. And when you actually show them that it's 50, they say no. They're like, it's always been 52. Right? No, it's always been 50. So that's another side of it where I'm on the side that's like the reality we live in, where I'm like, no, it's always
Right.
been
It's
50.
oh well, yeah. I mean, not always, right? But
Well,
it is 50 now, right?
like right now in
Right.
our reality, it's been 50. Yeah, we've added them like slowly but surely, but it's I'm like well, let me correct it. We've never had 52.
Right.
Not in my not in my
Yeah. You
reality.
know, maybe the great state of Taured will come up sometime in the future, right? It's wild because even Nelson Mandela himself, like this whole phenomenon that coined this term, right, in the
Hmm.
1980s when people discovered that he was still alive and they believed like there was this one paranormal researcher, Fiona Broom, who discovered because she believed Nelson Mandela was dead in the 1980s. She thought for sure he was dead. She was talking to other people and found there was a widespread belief that this man was dead, but he was still alive. Like, and that's
Yeah.
what started this whole Mandela effect thing. Like Looney Tunes, right? Like, how's that spelled?
The, that one messes me up, actually.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. That one messes me up. Dude, it didn't ever have a U.
No, it was always Tunes, Toons.
Yeah,
Looney
like Looney
Tunes.
cartoons.
Yeah. And then Porky the Pig bursts through one of the O's in Tunes and freaking says, you know, yeebity yeebity, that's all, folks, or whatever.
Yeah. Like no, they'll never convince me. And then I think they even got more that like get in there like the fact that like the guy from the Peanuts. What is that one? He doesn't have a monocle, but people remember him having
Oh,
a
yeah,
monocle.
Mr. Peanut.
Yeah. I'm
Wait,
like,
does he not have a monocle?
I don't think so. We'll have to
No,
look it
no,
up.
no,
I
no,
can't.
no, no.
I can't because they're like, oh, he.
Okay, he does have a monocle.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not him. It was it him or was it the guy from Monopoly?
Uh, are you gonna tell me he didn't have a monocle?
Well, I think it was one of the two. I'm trying to remember now.
Okay, now this is tripping me out because on a Google image search of Monopoly Man, like some of the pictures have him with, some of the pictures have him without. There's a wiki article on here about Monopoly Man's monocle and the Mandela effect that is extremely bright. Yeah, it's saying he never wore a monocle in the US editions of the game. But on the banknotes on the European version, he had them, but not in like the artwork and stuff for the US version, which is
Now, was there one for Mr. Peanut too? Because I swear there was.
um yeah, every thing that's attributed to Mr. Peanut seems to link back to Monopoly Man. Like they're thinking of Monopoly Man actually when they're referring to Mr. Peanut, right?
Oh yeah, they
Or
got
they're
me with
thinking
that
about
one.
Mr. Peanut when they're actually referring to the Monopoly Man. So
They got me with that one then. But
yeah, because you're about
no,
to you're about to make me go tripping if you said Mr. Peanut never had a monocle, but he
I'm
apparently does,
already,
and he always has. So before you get up in
I'm
arms,
already tripping though.
he's got a monocle. We're good.
I'm already tripping. They got me with all the other ones. The Looney Tunes one messes me up. The Fruit of the Loom one, the Berenstain Bears, like all those. I'm like, no, no. Like you'll never convince me.
No, like some of that stuff is insane. Like I could have sworn, right, especially Berenstain Bears, because I can picture the cover art of some of those books in my head and how that's spelled. Right,
100%.
it was Stein, not Stain. Like
100%. Read them every day growing up, like as a
yeah,
kid.
there's never an A in that shit
Nope, not
ever.
even a single time.
So again, why those types of things are filtering through the veil, who knows? But I mean, like you got the man from Taured, that's a bigger instance, right? There's different bigger instances. One of which, like a documented incident from more recently, so 1972, is the Gadianton Canyon Incident on the Utah-Arizona border, right? There were four women driving home to Utah from Nevada and took a detour through the Gadianton Canyon. They reported when they entered the canyon, entering a desert landscape unlike anything they've ever seen. They saw buildings with strange glowing lights. They saw futuristic cars that were like flying around, and an atmosphere that felt alien. Right, and this is a big tourist trap of a canyon. So a lot of people are there just looking at the canyon, similar to the Grand Canyon, but on a smaller scale. Right, it's beautiful scenery, but they ran into a future city inside of it that doesn't exist.
Hmm.
Okay. Because of this, they panicked. They turned around and instantly found themselves back on the normal canyon road. Like all that stuff was gone. Okay. These
Hmm.
were, you know, this incident was later reported in like paranormal journals and some of the op-ed stuff. But it's one of the more modern, like time slip accounts, which is interesting because it kind of leads right into our encounter with this whole phenomenon, like the big one, right? Because we did something similar, except for instead of finding a city, we lost a city.
Oh man, yeah. That to this day is. I'll say everybody we've told about it doesn't believe us, but I'm like, that's where we were talking about it earlier. I'm like, thank God both of us were there, because
Yeah.
yeah, it was that was wild. I remember. Yeah, I don't even know what we were doing there.
Yeah,
We
and to
were like,
preface this, I guess, for people like unfamiliar with us in the area. So there's like a walking path. So Clyde and I went to the same high school, kind of went to the same little small town, and that's how we met each other and became friends and all this. But there still is a walking path in town that follows a river, right? And so it's like a 6 mile loop. It's a nice path. You can walk, you can bike, you can do all this stuff. So one day, I think it was in like over summer break or something. We were just bored, so like, hey, we're gonna go walk this path and just hang out, do whatever, throw rocks in the river. Um, and we were walking this path, and for some reason, we decided to get off the path. Like there was a prairie off to one side, and there was like a fence. It was an electric fence, and we had dared each other to go touch the fence.
wait, no, I didn't. Is that it, or did we see it? Because there was like a building.
Yeah, there was a building like I don't know, a couple hundred yards away that was attached to this property with like this electric fence.
Hmm.
Right. And so we're like, I remember for sure we were talking about touching that fence, just being dumb. And so we walked over to that fence and, we did the whole like, just try to touch it real quick. And then, I don't remember who touched it first, you or me, but we touched it. It didn't shock us. We're like, that's freaking weird. And then part of the fence was down, like the middle string of wire was loose and hanging. So we're like, let's just cross this fence for no reason and see what happens. So after we discovered it wasn't electric, we crossed the fence, and what happened?
Well, I remember after, yeah, like after we crossed it, I remember walking, and there was later, like we start crossing that field, and there was an electric part later, because I remember it hitting my legs, and I got shocked, and I was like, "Ow, what?" It's like, "What just happened?" And then you were walking, saw me get shocked, kept walking anyway, and then you got shocked by this one part of the electric wire that was in the bush.
You're right. Yeah, the top strand that we were like touching wasn't electrified or whatever reason, but
Yeah.
that bottom strand that was loose was, and you're right. We did trip on that and got a little
It
hit.
was like it shocked both of our legs, and then we stepped over that wire. And once we stepped over that wire, our entire town, city, buildings, everything was gone.
Yeah. So this walking path, like the fence was probably 50 yards off the walking path, and the walking path again follows the river, but it's still like in the middle of town. So you could look on both ways. You can see an interstate, you can see a major roadway, you can see buildings and houses pretty much wherever you are on that walking path. So we touch that fence, cross over it, and it's just prairie as far as the eye can see in
Yeah.
all directions.
No
And for
matter.
some reason, I remember it not hitting us right away. Like we're walking and there's just a bunch of prairie in front of us. And then we're walking for a couple minutes and then we start looking around and we're like, what the hell is happening? Like where?
Yeah.
Like there's no more road. Like the prairie we were walking through that was fenced, like was fenced on the side of the walking path, and it was fenced on the side of the main road that people traverse to get from one side of town to the other.
Hmm.
And that road's not there anymore. The interstate bridge that goes over this road that was like 300 yards away from us is no longer there. There's no more sounds of traffic. There's no more building over here that was where that fence yard was. There's no more walking path. There's no more anything. It's like we went
Yes.
back to the 1800s Western prairie. There's
Mhm.
nothing.
Yeah, the entire town was gone. Like any way you looked, you could see something prior to stepping over that fence. Now, any way you looked, it was just wide open prairie.
Yeah, and we're like, I remember looking at you and we're like talking. And we're like, where the hell are we? Like, what happened? Like,
And
there
that's
was
when I think,
conversation about did we die? Like, did that fence kill us?
yeah,
I remember
yeah, because
looking
we didn't
back and
know.
trying to see our bodies. Like,
Yeah, we didn't know what was going on, and then we got the bright idea. Like there was that little creek that was running through the middle of just open prairie, and we're like, well, I guess we'll follow the creek
yeah,
because
that's like
what
wilderness
else?
survival 101, right? Like, stay close to water because there's no more
Yeah.
town and we may be out here for the rest of forever, right?
Yeah, I remember we're like, okay, well, this is the best we got. So we started walking along that creek. And then I don't even, how long were we even walking? I don't even remember.
I,
Well,
in my memory, it seems like we were walking for eternity. It was probably like 10 or 15 minutes, right? Because I thought
it
our
seemed like
world
an eternity.
ended. I thought we were done.
I think that's why it seemed like an eternity. Because in my mind, it's like we were walking for like 2 hours. But I'm like, it probably was 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we get down to the creek, and we're following it through some like little windy twists and turns underneath some like trees, and we go under this overgrown or this growth of trees that are along the river, and we come back up the other side, and the city's back. Like the road's right there. And we turn around and look at where we just were, and the freaking building is there, the fence is there, the rest of the walking path is there. Like, what happened?
Yeah, I remember like crossing that threshold, like there's nothing there, and then as soon as you cross it, everything's back. Traffic noises,
Hmm.
the road. You turn around, the buildings are back. The building that was not even that far from us when it was still there was all of a sudden back, and we're like, uh.
Yeah, that was like the weirdest thing, right? It's like climbing under that tree growth, and just immediately you could hear cars, right? You
Mhm.
hear the sounds of civilization again. And those are things you take for granted because when they're not there anymore, it is real quiet.
Yeah, it got real real scary for a minute because you go from like, oh, like, let's just take a walk around, whatever, to are we even capable of surviving in an open prairie where possibly we're the only humans that exist?
Yeah, right. Like I don't know what happened there. I remember looking into it, and I've looked into it recently as well, about like that there have been other experiences like this in that area. Like what's there historically? And there's nothing. There's literally nothing. Like it, for some reason, the universe chose us that day, and off we went. And who knows
And that
where we were, when we were, or why we were there, but it happened. Like we've told the story to multiple people. I've told the story in my speech at your wedding, and people asked me about it, and I told them, and they're like, "You're making this shit up." I'm like, "No, dude. I wish I was."
it's super hard to believe if you haven't experienced something like
Hmm.
that. So if you guys have, like, let us know, because like that's one cool thing I thought about this is it's like a lot of these glitch in the matrix stories or these breaks in reality, they don't really have like a, oh, every time people go here this happens. It's kind of like at random places here and there across the world, and just all of a sudden reality break for somebody, and then they come back and they're like what
Right.
what happened?
And maybe we should get a hold of those four women from Utah and those like you know airport guards from Tokyo, and we just have a support group. Like we can get T-shirts made, we can talk about it. But
It's it's not a bad idea. It's crazy, but there's like a lot more stories about that. I can't remember the exact story, but I even heard one. You mentioned the desert, and it brought one back in my mind that I read not too long ago, where people were driving in a car and they got hungry, and they were cruising, I think, through like the open desert in like Arizona or something, somewhere over there, and they pulled in. They saw a diner, and they pulled in, and they went into the diner. And when they went in, they said everything in this diner was from like the 1950s. And all the people looked at them like they were aliens, dressed the way they were. And they said all these people were dressed in like 1950s dresses and suits, ties, hats, looked at them, stared at them. They got uncomfortable as they were in there, so they left, continued down the road, like stopped at another place, a hotel or whatever. And on their way back, they were going to look at that diner again and like take pictures, do whatever, because they were kind of tripped out at the time. And they said as they passed the area where the diner was, there's nothing there.
yeah, I think I actually know the story you're talking about. I think it was in Oregon. Um,
Was it Oregon?
I think so because it might have been the same story you read or a similar one where a guy, I think in the 70s, was traveling down a road in Oregon. I don't remember exactly where, but stopped at a diner to eat, and it was like all 1950s decor. And it's not like today, right, where you have those like throwback diners that are made to look like that. Like this was legitimate. The people were dressed from the 1950s. They were talking like they were from the 1950s. But if I remember right, the story I read, the guy actually ate there, thought the food and the decor was excellent, left, and then when he was on his return trip home, he tried to eat at this diner, and it wasn't there anymore. So he stopped and asked a local about it, and they told him that that diner had burned down 20 years prior to that, like
That might
in
be
the
the same
50s.
story. That might be the
Yeah,
same story because I read that thing a while back and it just now popped back up into my head when we were
yeah.
talking
I
about this.
think it was in Oregon. That is a fact that's sticking in my head. I'll see if I can find it real quick.
It sounds super familiar. Like now that we're talking about it, like some of these breaks in reality are coming back to me. So you're probably 100% right because yeah, I definitely like it just popped back into my head. So I was like trying to create the details that I read, but it's been a minute.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that's blowing up now in Oregon that we're probably going to have to talk about on America the Haunted. That's talking about
Oh well.
families vanishing and stuff.
Hmm.
But there are a couple reports here of a diner in Oregon, like yeah, the vanishing Oregon diner. Huh.
Yeah, you're probably spot on. I don't remember why. I thought it was Arizona, but like it's like I said, it's been a minute. So
And maybe it happened
you're
more
probably
than once because the story I remember, the guy actually ate there, and then he liked it so much he was trying to go back, and it had burned the hell down 20 years prior.
you might be right. There might be multiple. Like that's what I was saying. Because 100%. I think these breaks in reality do happen. Like we just told everybody here, it happened to us, and I can't explain it. So
Yeah, and you get like scientific with it. And are we talking about like a multiverse? Are we talking about like small scale quantum entanglement? Um, it,
simulation stuff, it's
Simulation
weird.
theory, right? Are we living in a simulation and we just ran into a glitch that one day in the prairie, and it didn't render, right? Like our landscape didn't render.
Yeah, it reverted back to an old
Yeah, go
old
back to an
version.
old save. Yeah, an old server. Who
Yeah,
who knows? Like, are these things portals? Are they haunted sites? Are they places where the veil between life and death or other worlds is thin? Like, what are you, the viewers' thoughts on all this? Like, let us know in the comments. Have you experienced these things? Have you heard of these things? Do you think we are batshit crazy? We want to know. Just let us know in the comments. But thanks for
yeah,
sticking around on this episode where we talk about all kinds of crazy scientific time skip stuff. Um,
yeah.
it's
Thanks,
insane.
guys, and don't forget to hit that portal that's the follow button and join us for the next story.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. All those things help us out. As you know, if you watch any YouTube, people are begging for those likes and comments, right? I'm not going to beg you for them, but I would appreciate it. It'd be
I
great.
will.
Okay, fair enough. And we'll see you guys. We'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys.